Thank you so much for joining us here today. My name is Tamika Grooms, and I am here for our SCBWI Featured Illustrator of the Month. Today, we have Lenny Wen here to discuss her work with us, and I am so excited to congratulate her as well as let you know about her work. So, Lenny, thank you so much for being here, and congratulations.
Thank you so much, Tamika, for having me.
Yes, yes. So I want to hop right in. I have a few questions that I want for us to talk about just so we can learn more about you. Tell us a little bit about your process and, what is it that you use, your materials, the things you think about, how you're inspired. Tell us a little bit about your process as an artist.
I work both traditionally and digitally. So my process for both medium is pretty much the same. I always started with jotting down some rough ideas in my sketchbook. It's like a thumbnails, and it's normally it's really rough and like really messy and kind of stuff. And then I usually move to Photoshop and I set up an exact dimensions that I'm looking for. And then I sketch out and make a more tighter line art. If I work traditionally, I will just print it out and transfer it with my light pad in here to a hot press paper. And if I work digitally, I will just continue with my Photoshop. But before I doing that, I usually make a rough color just to see like what is the best color composition on Photoshop.
One of the things that I believe I saw on your homepage is that you talked about the things that you like to draw, and you have a full list of things there. Can you tell us a little bit about that and why you put that on your homepage, and tell us a little bit about the things that you love to draw?
Yeah, I think it like a lot of artists say you want to be hired for people for drawing the stuff you love, so that's why I put it there. And the things I love to draw is mostly organic stuff. I love drawing trees and animals and magical stuff or spooky stuff like ghosts and creatures and fairies and stuff. So yeah.
And am I correct in saying that you might add a little bit of your childhood in it as well? I think I saw that on your bio.
Yeah. I like to I like to draw something how is it called, like nostalgic and heartwarming scenes to my portfolio too.
So one of the things that I already mentioned is this list of things that you have. And one of the things I learned at the SCBWI conference recently is, providing this list of things that you love to draw is a great indication for what other people could hire you for. But for me, it's also a great way to remind me of what I love to draw too. So I like the fact that you included this on your website. Let's hop on over to your illustrations. Just so that people can really see some of this work here. It's wonderful. And the energy of the characters that you have, one of the things I mentioned was the mark making that you have in the artwork, and it does not feel digital to me at all. So I really enjoyed the work that you submitted, as well as the piece that we landed on for your artwork as well. I also noticed that you included your sketchbook on your website as well. Let me stop sharing. Let's share it first. So you included some of your work from your sketchbook. What made you do that on this on your website?
Honestly, I like my sketchbook stuff more than this more finalized and more I think in sketchbook I'm more loosen up and more raw. The drawing is more raw and it's pretty much unplain. So I think like it's yeah, I feel like it's more, I don't know how to say. I think like including my sketchbook, like I want to like people see my process and what I have in mind, more spontaneous, this kind of stuff.
So it feels very loose to me when
Yeah.
I see some of the work. What type of materials do you use when you're working in your sketchbook?
I'm usually use gouache and graphite.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and acrylic.
Wonderful.
And recently pastels too.
Okay, so you're playing. That actually gives you the opportunity to play even before you move to your finished pieces.
Yeah.
What made you join SCBWI?
I joined in when the online conference happened, I think in the early pandemic. Since I'm living in the countryside, I can attend like any workshop or conference. There's nothing like that. So it's for me, it's really insightful what the conference. There is a lot of material which I really find it interesting and valuable, I think, in the workshop and conference. So I hope SCBWI will still have this online conference, even without the pandemic and stuff.
And you were also one of the award winners recently as well?
Yes.
And remind us of which one?
Yeah, portfolio showcase.
I find it delightful just to see the things that you've been creating. I do have one more question. So it looks like you have several books out on the market. I would love for you to maybe share your latest book or your favorite book, whatever you'd like to share about your books, and also let people know how they can learn more about your work.
Okay. I have my first author book next year. This I write and illustrate, and this is about the little girl who tried to embrace the amount of spice from her grandma. And people can find my work in lennywen.com and on Instagram at lunartc. On Twitter is lunartc19.
Yeah. Perfect. Well, I hope everyone goes over to your website very soon to check out your work. Your work is phenomenal, and we look forward to seeing so much more. Thank you so much for chatting with me today, and I look forward to seeing more work from you.
Thank you for having me.